Welcome to Unclogged Conversation, powered by Larry Stinson Plumbing. Today, me and Scott are here together. How are you today, Scott?
I'm doing pretty well. Good Tuesday.
Good Tuesday. So, got a little stats for you.
Okay. I always like new stats.
Yeah. Do you know there are 3.5% women in the plumbing trade?
Wow. It's honestly lower than I kind of expected that to be.
It's a lot lower.
Yeah.
And we're going to lead into that with today's guest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. My guest today has been with me since the beginning, I guess I'd say. I got Carissa with me, the Texas Plumber. So what do you think?
Hey, everybody. Great to be on the podcast. Yes, I'm the Texas Plumber.
Hashtag.
Yep. Hashtag. It's the Ladies Elite Lounge.
The ladies room.
I remember working on a job with you and Scott, and it was, I think it was a gas system replacement. But he was driving his van and he needed him to move it, and he did move it. Moved it right into a tree limb.
I had only backed up like 8 times by this point, that van.
Hashtag.
Hey, man, it was pound sign back in my day.
I know. So, other than just marrying some dude that was in Tennessee that wasn't a plumber, did you ever think you'd be in the plumbing world?
No.
Did you know what a plumber was before you met me?
No, and I'm honest with people, and I actually tell them that I did not know what a plumber was until I met my husband. So, and now I am one.
Now you are one. You got your journeyman's license, 4 years ago? 2020?
Yeah, a little over 4 years ago now.
Heck yeah, right there, you're beating half the plumbers out there.
That's true.
You're going to go for your master's here this year?
This year, yeah.
Man.
Start that process.
Heck yeah.
What has been probably your favorite thing that we've done in this company as a part owner of this company?
My favorite thing is to see our young men and women grow in this trade and provide for their families. And ultimately, our goal is to protect the health of the nation, and particularly Texas, and particularly Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, but it's great to see someone, sometimes they're young, 18, 19, sometimes they're older, 30s. They've already had a career in another field, and they want to know what it's like to be a plumber, so they start out as an apprentice. And, sometimes they figure out real quick that they don't like to get their hands wet, or they don't they don't like the smell.
Chased a few off with shovels.
Yeah, this ain't for me. I think I'll go try something else. But
the ones that, that stay with it, I just love helping them learn, watching them grow,
It's fun seeing them go from not knowing what a tool is to being able to plumb an entire house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've learned, me and Scott especially, have learned that not everybody's suited for E-routes, not everybody's suited for tunnel jobs, not everybody's suited for...
I mean, plumbing's just such a wide range of skills.
Yes.
And again, I didn't even know gas was the thing that plumbers did when I got into plumbing.
Well, I think that's a big thing that most people don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who really does the gas about the setting.
Like Atmos? Like, no, Atmos doesn't...
They get it to your house.
Yeah, then they stop.
They'll turn it off there until you call a plumber.
Yep.
And then people are shocked by the plumbers do it and what it costs to get it done, to get your gas back on, all the hoops we have to pass and get to there.
I do think that's a big thing in the state of Texas is how extensive our testing is for the plumbing license. And so I do like to let people know what all is involved in that. And that, 4 years ago, it was still travel down to Austin. And take your test there. So mine was during COVID era. And so the first time I went down there, just happened to check my phone at 2 a.m. and got a text that we were canceled due to, somebody had tested positive. So I had to drive back from Austin.
It stinks.
But yeah, do you want me to talk about?
Well, one thing I want to elaborate on that you touched on was you're big into natural medicine. That is one thing that you've brought into my life that I didn't have growing up. And I think you'd like to tie it in, and it ties in well with what we do for a living. And it's part of why we've gotten into the filtration systems and the RO systems and I think it's even passed along into your family.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff floating around in all of our stuff nowadays.
And so you want to elaborate a little bit about what you like to discuss and what we do to protect the health? Put you on the spot, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the time period that I just spoke about helped us all learn more about our bodies and how to pay attention to the symptoms that we're feeling, and to take care of ourselves better, eat more organically, see what's been sprayed on our foods.
Yeah.
But also, take our health into our own hands also, and take care of our families by, whether that be essential oils, also, the foods that we eat, but the water that we drink. It's so important to not have, all the things that are, even the city water is repurposed. And so we're able to help clients even more bring their health higher by taking care of their water system and also their sewer system, making sure that there's not cross-contamination, and even down to the pressure of their house,
Yeah, you can get, all kinds of disease from having low pressure.
Yeah, water not moving enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And high pressure causes its own problems, but the low pressure can get a ton of diseases from that, and that's why we that all spawns from the early 1900s to now the big water wells.
Yeah.
Our big water towers is where that comes from.
Yeah. And you can grow all kinds of bacteria in there. Mm-hmm. And there's only so much filtering a city can do while meeting the demand of the town.
Yeah. And
yeah. Yeah.
And, especially on the Northeast, coast.
Yeah.
Some of them are even still wood pipes, from what I understand.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, just they hadn't got to changing everything out.
Yeah.
They're underneath big, huge buildings.
Yeah.
I would say another thing that I like that we do is when someone has a slab leak, is give them a new water line overhead and eliminate, the use of the line underneath the slab. Not only does that make it to where they won't have a leak on that line again, but it also eliminates whatever that might be, galvanized or copper, and now we're going back with PEX.
Yeah.
So they're getting.
So at least it's newer material.
Yeah, there's some controversy.
Yeah, there is a little.
Team, what it does. California is trying to. They would love to allow polybutyl material.
But then we go again with the water filter that will help.
Yeah, you would have to filter it every fixture because I don't know.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's another topic. But there is no better solution, in my opinion.
I mean,
glass pipe.
Really, glass is about the only thing I guess I could think of, and then have fun putting that in the ground.
Yeah, or in your wall.
Yeah.
First time the cable guy comes over and runs a screw in that.
Yeah.
How much that gonna cost you to fix?
Yeah.
So, I mean, glass pipe would be the only True.
But it's just not an option.
It'd be a cool, expensive house. But
Yeah, the most expensive house.
watch the pot water run through your pipe. Be pretty cool, especially if you colored it. But what else? So, what's your proud moment of Larry Stinson Plumbing?
What's the proudest moment of Larry Stinson?
Yeah.
Well, marrying you, obviously.
Well, you want to talk about that? You want to talk about our honeymoon?
Yeah, I was thinking back when I went to take my journeyman's test and how nervous I was, and that this is for the future. And then I realized that you actually took your journeyman's test on our honeymoon. So we went and honeymooned in San Antonio, and then you the next day took your test in Austin.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, I can't believe we did that on our honeymoon. I know how nervous I was. So you made two really big life decisions.
Right back to back.
Yeah.
Well, the motivation was there to make more money because
Yeah.
I went from 0 kids to 2 kids overnight.
And 3 really.
Yeah, well,
quick
3
after
came
that.
down the road pretty soon after that. But
Yeah.
so that was part of the motivation to go get my journeyman's. I was not far from Scott, and I was getting paid decent money to run calls illegally
Yeah.
back in the day.
I think
And-
that's one thing that I pride ourselves on too.
I won't do it
Here.
here.
Yeah. That we won't send someone out in a truck unless they're licensed to do that particular job. So I'm proud of us
I've
for that.
lost employees over that, I feel, at times, because we don't bypass the way you're supposed to do it. Because there's plenty of companies out there that will hire a guy from here and pay him $10 an hour more than I'll pay him to run a truck.
Yeah,
Even
but
though
not.
they're only an apprentice.
Yeah.
Or run commercial jobs as a tradesman.
Yeah.
And it's just know your worth. I mean, you're only hurting yourself and endangering everyone around you.
Right.
So I guess you're not only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how as a company what the reward over risk is.
Yeah.
You go out and you flood a house. You go out and you work on a house for me today, and you flood that house. The insurance company's going to be in the middle of it and doing a bunch of investigation. If they find one reason why that plumber shouldn't have been there, they're going to not pay on that claim.
Yep.
And that includes my general liability insurance company.
Yep. And now you're in it with the homeowner.
Yep.
And the state board.
Mm-hmm. Well, the state board's your least of your concerns at that point.
Yeah, really. Really.
I mean, you're probably already looking for a new business anyways,
Yeah.
because especially in some of the houses we work in nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's hard to find a house now for less than $500,000.
yeah, and then your $500,000 houses 7 years ago now are $1.5 million houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know very many people that can write a $1.5 million check and be.
And just keep trucking along.
Yeah.
No. So that's why we follow the rules.
Yes.
Yep.
So did my insurance and the homeowner's insurance and everybody's insurance. Does what you're supposed to do.
I would
Cover.
say, I have lots of proud moments for us. We just turned 17 a couple weeks ago
Yep.
at the company.
You're not even an adult yet?
No, the company's not adult yet. I guess. We're still teenagers
2 more years.
till we outgrow this house. No. We moved this last year.
Yep. That was a big one.
That was a big one.
That was a big one.
Went from 2,200 square feet to over 6,000 square feet, and we each have our own office now.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Scott went from being mostly in the field to partly in the field, and now he's full-time out of the field.
Yeah. Growing and doing things at an elevated level, bringing in-house inventory a lot more. We have supplies on hand for whatever the task may be. So I love that. And, one of my proudest moments would probably be having Julie work side by side with us, our oldest daughter, and she has her apprentice license too, and has aspirations of having her plumbing license someday. So just, all of our employees are more like family to us, and watching them grow and build families, it's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've come from a little bitty shop in Mansfield to this stage together, and I mean, the old saying, you hold on a little tighter. How's it go?
Just so you can get a better grip
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's not been just roses, and I mean, it's been up and down.
Yeah, we lost a truck, we lost a house.
I worked out in Suburban for a little bit.
Delivered pizzas.
Yep.
Our son said when he grows up he wants to be a pizza man so he can deliver pizzas to the ladies.
Yep. It was like 3.
Yeah. 17 now.
But no, I mean, yeah, I couldn't have done this without you. That's the biggest thing. That's the reason I wanted you on here. You've been a big influence in this whole business. And so I wanted you here to be sure everybody understood the true back behind this business. I would, how do I say this? I would be broke and have a bunch of cool toys if it wasn't for you.
I'd have cool stuff. I'd probably be about to have to give back.
Yeah. But now you've been a big asset to this company, and you continue to grow. I watched companies fail because the master died and left the house with no master around. And these two have been my plan from then. Scott got his master's license because he was eligible before Carissa was, because I waited way too long to get Carissa her journeyman. She should have got her journeyman a year ago, or years and years ago. But I waited too long, and so...
Well, we were raising kids.
Yeah. Raising kids, running a business, all that fun stuff.
So I convinced Scott to get his so that if something happened to me, the company continued and never missed a beat. And then the plan was Carissa get hers, and she can continue to run the company with Scott's help, and that's where we're at.
How far out are you?
She's ready.
You ready?
I can apply this year.
Cool.
She's nervous.
It's a test.
I told her, I said,
course.
I think you'll pass that test better than your journeyman test. I think as a woman that the written part is easier because she didn't struggle with the written part at all.
Yeah.
Most men in the trades.
You look at it all the time. You know the words all the time.
But most men in the trades can go and do the work all day long.
Yeah, and they don't know any of the words.
No, and they don't understand why they're doing it. And can't. And the studying is a different. Most men, I mean, not all men.
And what the actual name is probably not what you were taught.
Or what we call it in the field.
Yeah. So I told her, I said, I think you'll do fine. Because she's like, because I told her, I said, I don't expect you to pass it your first try, but I think you will. I said, because this is totally different than your journeyman's. This is 225 multiple choice questions, and a ton of it's over OSHA.
Yeah.
And then you study for it, and I mean, that's the biggest thing. I hated studying. I hated studying for the test.
I did too.
The test was hard.
Every night. Okay. I got to thank my wife for it too, though.
Yeah,
she stayed on me every night. She's like, nope, you are sitting down and studying for an hour. I don't want to tonight. Like, I was back in high school again.
She built you flashcards.
Oh, yeah. It was nonstop flashcards. Seeing flashcards in my sleep.
I didn't do that. I just went in there and ABC. No, I'm kidding.
No.
If I didn't know what this one was.
Back when you got your master's license, we had to wait in the mail.
Yeah, there wasn't no looking online and getting it on the way home.
Just sitting there with a tight stomach for weeks.
2.5 weeks. Or it showed, I think it was 28th.
Yeah,
I
and
took it on the 2nd or 3rd, and it showed up on the 28th.
Dang.
I remember
And then you had to mail off and pay for it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Couldn't just go online and pay for it.
Oh gosh.
And mail them a check.
And then wait for your card for
Wait
a
for
few
your card
more
to come
weeks.
back.
then you can start a company.
So I'm technically master plumber, but probably not for like another month or
Yeah,
two.
that's the way it was back then.
Oh
now
my
it's
gosh.
overnight. You can,
Yeah.
well,
Ah,
you,
semi
not
overnight.
overnight.
Yeah.
State of Texas.
Within a few days.
Depends on who you are, I guess. I don't know. I swear it's all over the
I
place.
haven't figured it out down there yet, but they're great people down there. Don't get me wrong.
No, they are. They are. And they're trying to service too much with too little.
That's
Yes.
a whole nother show.
But yeah, that's a whole other shit.
Yeah.
Step on a lot of people's toes with that show.
But yeah, the budget that they have versus the money that comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right, you got anything for our viewers? You want to tell a story about me or Scott?
Not about me, please.
I have a story about Scott, but I have lots of stories.
Well, give us one.
I just
a leak
remember,
lounge story.
yeah, this is the ladies' leak lounge.
The ladies' room.
I remember working on a job with you and Scott, and it was I think it was a gas system replacement, but he was driving his van and you needed him to move it, and he did move it. Moved it right into a tree limb.
All right. I had only backed up like 8 times by this point, that van.
And
It was in the Econoline. It was before we had nowadays with the cameras and all that stuff. It was a 2011 Econoline. No backup cameras. No.
old school days.
Yep.
Yep. Punch that window right out.
Broke that window right up.
Why did it stop reversing? Give it a little gas.
And Scott's
That was years ago.
Yeah, I know. This is
Scott's put his life on the line for things before too.
Yeah, sometimes shouldn't have.
Yeah. He tried to save a camera one time from being stolen and
Yeah.
chase after those guys
Yeah.
that stole your camera off your truck.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost got run over by a car that day. That
Yep.
was a lot of fun. I didn't realize there was a
Two of
team.
them.
Yeah. Well, actually, I guess I did realize. I don't know. It all happened so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was
I see,
wild.
hey, that guy's walking by a camera. It looks just like mine. And then I look back over my van and I see the back door half open and see legs running around in there, sprinting like I went for the wrong guy. Should have gone for the guy with the camera. Instead, I sprint for the back of the truck. And then I hear a car flying up behind me as I'm screaming, heading towards that guy. Turn around just in time to jump out of the way of this car that he's trying to bump me with and blocks me from the back of the van while the other guy gets out of the van and dips around the car and hops in the back of the car, and then they bolt. And they just take off. And I'm just like, I had so many things I wish I had done different. Wish I had gone after the guy with the camera, or wished I had locked the back of the damn truck with that guy in it. But
Oh, that would have been cool.
that would have been that would have
and
made
then
me.
took him for a ride.
Yeah, that would have made me the
Let's
happiest.
go down to the police station.
We're going to take a lot of turns on the way to the station.
Hold on. I have questions.
Oh yeah, what you got?
Wait, so where were you? How did this happen?
We were in Farmers Branch.
Yeah,
There was about 4 trucks on the job.
yeah. I had just pulled up. Y'all have been working there for a couple hours already.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up. I was just grabbing a tool out of the back real quick, and then I knew I was coming right back out to the truck. That's when I was in that box truck. And I was tired of throwing open and down the door. I was like, I'm just handing this, seeing what's going on, and then walking right back out to the front.
Yeah, I don't even think you were planning on staying. I think you were just bringing
No,
us something.
yeah, I was. So it was just literally got out of my truck, opened the back, got the thing I needed, closed the door, just didn't put the lock back on, and then walked around to y'all. I was like, oh, wow, y'all got a lot going on. And then like, all right, and then walked back. I couldn't have been there 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes.
Probably saw you pull in the neighborhood.
And that's it.
I followed him from wherever they were.
And unfortunately, this was a job for my best friend growing up at her house. So
And it wasn't even a bad area. It was a fairly nicer area.
Seems to be
Not high dollar area, but
Seems to be where we get robbed the most.
and it is. It's the more middle class areas is where you really watch your stuff.
Were they young, like
Knocking
teenagers
on
or
wood.
something?
Nah, they probably were in their mid 20s.
They're brazen.
And they had a paper tag on. I wrote it down, but the cops were like, "Yeah, that's fake." Like, it's like, tried to chase after him too. I hopped in the van and took off once I got Larry's attention in the back, but I couldn't find it.
All right, let's take a different turn now. Probably one of my favorite stories is I think it was Corey that did this job, but a client of ours, their twin girls flushed things down the toilet like little shampoo bottles. And so we went over there and pulled the toilet and took out all these little things. But they wrote him a nice, I think, it was you.
Well, no, it was me and Corey.
Yeah, okay.
Corey.
Yeah.
Corey's my premise at the time.
We put that letter on our refrigerator.
Yeah, and I'll post a picture of it on the end of this. I still got a picture of that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they were cool little girls.
Yeah.
They were so happy that we got their potty fixed.
Probably one of my favorite things is our logo that, you guys will see little kids
Yeah, we've had kids draw it.
drive down the road and be like, look, and wave.
Oh, yeah.
And our plumber guy.
Oh yeah.
So-
That was
Especially when I was in the big red truck.
Yeah.
Oh man, kids were doing this to me all the time. Like I was a fire engine. Like it's just a regular horn. I'm sorry, guys. I need to get an air horn installed in this thing.
That's fun. That's fun.
Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about faucets and different brands and different styles and even different kinds from one to the other.
And boy, there's a lot of them. It's almost crazy how many faucets there are. I like that everybody gets the option and you can find exactly what you want, but it makes life hell for the repair plumber.
Yep.
I
mean, one of the big things is that you have faucets from 1940s, 50s, still in houses, to ones that just came out last week.
Yeah.
That somebody bought and isn't working, and now you got to figure it out.
Yeah. And what stinks is because the one from the 1940s and 50s was probably the better faucet, but I can't find parts for it anymore.
Well, all right. Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate everything you do around here.
Little Valentine's love this week.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, yeah, you better work on it.
You got anything for us, Will?
Don't flush your toys down the toilet after you have fun with them this week.
No. That's a different episode. All right. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Ring the bell so you get your notifications when we got new stuff.
Yeah.
You got a lot of shorts and stuff coming out. So
Leave some comments.
well, yep. And we're going to do some, hopefully by the time you see this one, we'll already been doing it. We're going to do some on the site videos that we'll also post on YouTube.
Yeah, those be good.
Yep. And so we'll tag them into the podcast. But just don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for joining us on Unclogged Conversations, powered by Larry Stinson Plumbing. Y'all have a great week.
There y'all.